and pulled the trigger on BYU when they had the chance. And this would be, you could argue this is the best conference in college football if you have those two teams.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And like I said, the only reason why I mean, out of purely selfish reasons, being a Northern Illinois fan, but the reason I mentioned their name is because you look at, like I said, geographics don't mean anything as far as, where schools have to travel, but they play a big role as far as TV markets. The only reason the Big Ten ever looked at adding Maryland and Rutgers was because they got control of the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania market, and also the D.C., Maryland, Virginia markets. As far as TV goes, they got the Big Ten networks in those areas. So you look at Northern Illinois, they have a strong football program. They are pretty much the biggest team in the Chicagoland area. They pull in, they're getting more notoriety than Northwestern and Illinois these days. And they're the only team that could really make a move, and they would grab that Chicagoland market for the, Big 12. And, when you tie that in with the Texases and Oklahomas and, the Kansas States, that's a pretty solid, you'd have a good handle on the entire middle of the country. So I doubt it happens, but it's a possibility. And I know those are things that these conferences are looking for when talking about adding teams.
I know not a lot of people are going to agree with the Final Four, but, I mean, you got what it couldn't have worked out better for the first year of this as far as, other than Oregon. Oregon's been good the last, 10 years maybe, 7 years, a legit national contender for the last 6 or 7 years. But, I mean, you look as far as college football tradition, Ohio State, Alabama, and Florida State, I mean, you could not ask for anything better for the first year of the college football playoff. I mean, I guess you would add Baylor and TCU. I think they were kind of worried about that with Baylor and TCU. Are we going to get enough eyeballs on this if we have these two teams?
Oh yeah, that makes a huge difference, and that plays into what you said earlier about if this were Oklahoma or Texas we're talking about, would it be, would these teams have fallen out of the race? And no, that whether they'll never come out and openly say it, but yes, teams that have large fan bases and draw more viewership are obviously going to, if everything's even on paper, that's going to push one team in front of the other. So that's the name of the game in college football these days. So you definitely going to have to and even looking at the regions for this year. I mean, I personally thought that I had the same matchups, but I had them flip flopped. Where I thought Oregon was the number one team in my opinion, but you see that Oregon now they get to basically have, I guess, an advantage as far as time zone and coast go because they're going to be playing a few hours down from Oregon. They're going to be in California, the Rose Bowl, and then you look at Alabama, who's going back to the Sugar Bowl. They get some crowd favoritism as well, being in SEC country. So that all of that plays a role in who gets into these games.
As far as the playoff goes, everybody wants 8 already. Do you think 8 waters it down too much? Or I said 6. Give 2 teams a bye, and the number 1 and number 2 team a bye, and have 3 play 6, 4 play 5, and I mean 6 would have worked out perfectly this year. There would have been no bitching.
Right.
But, what do you think? Do you think 4 is right, or do you think 8 waters it down too much? What do you think the right number is for this?
I think 8. I think 8 is a good number. You're always going to have at least 4 teams good enough to be in the conversation of winning a national title. So you look at 4 is a solid starting point. I'm not too crazy about having 6. I'm not a fan of giving bye weeks, especially when you look at. I mean, all these teams are going to have a month off anyway to prepare and plan for this game. So I'm not really too crazy about having 6. I mean, obviously, if you were to have 6 games, you'd probably have a bowl. The I guess play-in that semifinal would be earlier than New Year's Day, because then you'd have the Final Four be New Year's Day, and then the national title game be second week of January. So there's a way around that. but I think 8's just really kind of the best thing to go with. It'll give a legitimate shot to one of the group of 5 schools. So, for example, either it was Boise State who ended up having the best record out of the smaller schools. And before that, it would have been Marshall. But it gives one of those schools a legitimate shot to say that, hey, we're going to, get a chance to play for a national title, at least get one major bowl game appearance. Rather than you look at Marshall, now they're going to play in the Boca Raton Bowl. I was looking around on Twitter. I said it was sponsored by World's Original and Paladin. But, these bowl games don't mean anything if you had a chance to play for a New Year's Day bowl, and then all of a sudden, Marshall loses by 1 point, and now they're playing in a meaningless bowl game that no one's really going to watch unless you're rooting for, any of the 2 teams that they're, But I think 8 figures things. That 8 balances things. You get every conference champion in. You get an at-large team. So when you start talking about the SEC, yes, they'll probably have 2 or 3 teams in every year. If you start talking about adding at-large team, because more likely than not, they're going to have, or even this year, the Big 12, 2 teams from a conference. If you have a year where 2 really good teams from the same conference or the same division in a conference are good, they each get a shot to, make a run for a title.
I think it would have been nice if they would have matched up Baylor and TCU again. I guess it would be kind of an LSU Alabama thing from a few years ago, but I mean,
yeah,
just settle the score. Settle the score right now.
But a good way to have done that would have been for the Big 12 to have a conference title.
But if they still have North versus South, though, like the Civil War, they still, TCU and Baylor would have played in that game.
No, right, but that's the thing. Baylor would have gone ahead. They would have played. I can't divide up the divisions in my head, but they would have played. Yeah, K-State beat K-State. Okay, now they have an extra win. They won their conference title. That gives them a legitimate, standing to jump ahead of TCU. And then now, once again, you come up with like I said, Baylor versus Ohio State standpoint of, who goes as far as those teams go. But that at least takes care of one aspect of, wow, you wouldn't have had 3 teams, be in the circle for a race. It would have cut it down to 2.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take our first break here on Sunday night. And we will be right back to talk more college football here on the Bob Sullivan Show on LateNightSportsRadio.com.
Second to keep breathing in a moment before it's gone. You never know when love is lost until you find just what it costs to be wrong. I wonder if you think of me passing by, you think you see me coming. I wonder if you pull me in, kiss me just one time again. Coming and the nights will keep on going till they're tired, falling fast asleep and as they dream of ghosts of beats filled with desire. The chance of life is all around, a chance to take is always found. Writing on the lullabies, I'm alone and live your life.
Baby, you're a mystery. Tell me what's a girl gotta do? Looking at the history doesn't seem to give any clue. Just when I think I understand it all, you seem to unravel some more. Ooh, la, 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 ooh, I never know nobody like you. Ooh, la, 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 ooh, now I know. Baby, you're not an Ooh, la, la, ooh, la, 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 oh. Yeah, you keep me guessing, I'm confessing now, well, baby, it's true. I never know nobody like you. Baby, you're an enigma. Baby, you're a riddle, I'm caught up in the middle of you. I'm trying to think bigger, but I can't seem to figure it through. I wanna make it better, but now I'm scared